Hey guys, Corey here with IkeSOutdoors.com. We're here tonight to do a review on another flashlight from Thrunite. Excuse me, this one here is the TN4A. This is a 4AA flashlight from Thrunite, and as the 4AA batteries would suggest, this is a lot bigger flashlight than the previous models that I've reviewed. It's an extremely powerful flashlight, an extremely bright flashlight with some really cool settings. And we're going to show you guys a little bit about it and explain to you guys some of the key features to this flashlight that I think you'll like. Again, this is called the TN4A, and when you open it up, you'll see, first of all, you got your owner's manual with your directions in there, which all the directions, all the owner's manuals and the directions in every Thrunite flashlight that I've reviewed have been really helpful, and this one here is one that you definitely want to look through because there's a lot of features to this flashlight, more so than any of the other ones I've done. So you got your bag here with some spare parts, O-rings and stuff like that. Again, the O-rings are really important because this is a waterproof flashlight, and you want to keep an eye on your O-rings and replace them if they ever start showing any signs of wear or dry rot or anything. So the spare O-rings, it's a really good thing that they throw them in the box with the flashlight itself. This flashlight also comes with a wrist lanyard or a wrist strap, which is real simple to use. It's real straightforward. We can show you guys how to do that too. And I think the wrist lanyards are a really cool idea because, again, this flashlight's a lot bigger than the previous models that you could just put in your pocket. You're not going to throw this flashlight in your pocket and forget about it. So on top of the wrist strap option, you've also got a real high quality holster that's got some belt loops and stuff like that. And what I like about this holster, it's not a cheesy cheap holster like you get with a lot of flashlights. This one here, it's a real heavy material, and the Velcro on it is a real strong Velcro. A lot of the holsters that get thrown in with flashlights that I've seen in the past, the Velcro, it's kind of a cheap Velcro that's not real effective, and it wears out real quick. And this Velcro here, I've had this flashlight for, I don't know, well, it's been over a month now anyways, and been using it in the holster. I've also used the wrist strap. I like both of them, but the holster, the Velcro is still as good as it was the day that I took it out of the box. It's showing no signs of use. It's held up really well, and so it's a really cool feature. They didn't just throw a cheap holster in there. They gave you a real quality holster that's gonna last. The flashlight, like I said before, it's a lot bigger flashlight than the ones I've tried in the past. But a cool thing about this flashlight, if you guys have seen some of the other Thrunite reviews, Ike and I both have been a really big fan of the Firefly setting. From a hunting standpoint, I think we've kept referencing the situation of being in your tree stand in the dark and you forget something in your bag and you're needing to go rifling around through your bag to try to find it. You don't want to turn on a headlamp or something that's real bright that's going to draw some unwanted attention to you, and the Firefly setting is absolutely perfect for that. One of the cool things about this flashlight is, even though it's big and extremely powerful, it still has that Firefly setting that we really like in a hunting scenario. So yes, you get a really big flashlight with a lot of power. It's got a lot of settings, but you don't have to sacrifice not having that Firefly setting. So I was really happy to see that. Another feature that this flashlight has that from I hate to use the word tactical because everybody wants to throw that word around anymore, but from a home protection or a self-defense standpoint, it's got a strobe. It's got a strobe setting, and it's a strobe setting that is very easy to get to. It's not one you don't have to go through a bunch of settings to activate the strobe. The strobe mode, it's just a couple double clicks and you're there. Turn it on, double click once, you're on turbo, double click again, and you're ready to disorient somebody. So the strobe, it's also on what they call the turbo setting. We'll get into the lumens, but I'll tell you, it is crazy powerful. We've had the lights turned off in the house, and I've been chasing Brittany around with the strobe, and she's been really impressed with it, but not real happy with me. So anyways, just really cool features built. I mean, from the very bottom all the way down to the Firefly setting, all the way up to the turbo mode, and then the strobe. It's just got a lot of settings, and every one of them I found to be very useful. So getting on into some more of the specs, this has got the intelligent temperature controlled, which prevents damage from overheating. when you get into as many lumens and as much power as these flashlights are putting out, they can generate a lot of heat. So that's a really cool safety feature from Thrunite on this flashlight. The glass is a tempered glass, so it's strong, and it's got an anti-fog coating. So again, when you're in the extreme cold, extreme heat, bouncing back and forth from one or the other, you don't have to worry about the fog, your lens fogging up. Really cool feature, and I'm really glad that it's got a tempered glass rather than some of the cheaper ones I've seen. It's got plastic, which scratches real easy. With glass, you just don't get any distortion. It's a lot clearer. Just a really quality flashlight. It's got the same aircraft aluminum grade body that the other Thrunites I've reviewed have had, and this one, just like the rest of them, has been super tough, held up really well to all the punishment that I've thrown at it. And fishing season's started here, and I fish a lot of bass tournaments, and this flashlight has been rolling around in the floor of my bass boat, as well as the floor of my truck, since I've started using it. And it's been in wet conditions, it's been in cold conditions, and it's been in some really tough conditions, getting kicked around in the floor of the boat. No scratches, no dings, couple smudges, it just wiped right out. So really tough finish on it. It's a Type 3 hard anodized finish, and just real durable. Been real happy with how well every one of the Thrunites have held up, and this one has got treated a little bit rougher than the rest of them. And I guess it's bigger. It seems like it should be able to take more abuse, and it has. Been real happy with it. Held up really good. It's got 6 modes. It's got Firefly, low, medium, high, turbo, and strobe. And like I said, strobe is also on the turbo setting. So as far as the lumens, it's an insanely bright strobe, which I really, really like. It's got a memory function that can be set to any mode for immediate use. Excuse me. In a nutshell, whatever setting you want it set on, let's say right there's medium, and let's say I want to leave it on medium, so that when I turn it on, whether it's 10 minutes from now or 10 days from now, I want it to automatically come on medium, push the button, and you're right back to the same setting. So again, you don't have to cycle through a lot of settings to get to the one that you like. You can just use a memory function, and it comes right back on in the mode that you left it off in. It's got a Cree XPL excuse me, V6 LED that's got a 20-year runtime. So I mean, it is amazing when you stop and think about how far technology's come with flashlights. We have come a long ways from the old flashlight that you got to beat on to get them to even turn on, and light bulbs constantly burning out. I mean, it's very, very impressive how long these flashlights and these light bulbs will last you now. So not only are they getting tougher and get to where they can hold up to a lot more abuse, they're doing it for a really, really long time. I mean, 20 years out of a flashlight, out of just a light bulb, that's very, very impressive. Let's get into the lumens and the runtime. The Firefly is a half lumen. Again, it's a very, very dim setting, which is absolutely perfect for scenarios like we mentioned earlier, like in a tree stand. It's a half lumen setting on Firefly, and it's got a runtime of 80 days. Low is 15 lumens, and it'll run for 93 hours. Medium is 139 lumens, which will run for 14 hours. High is 550 lumens, and it'll run for 150 minutes. Turbo is 1150 lumens, which will run for 56 minutes. And then you've got strobe, which is also 1150 lumens, and it'll run for 150 minutes. So, like I said earlier, you've got a very diverse bunch of options, I guess, as far as, whether you want something incredibly dim all the way up to something incredibly bright, and anywhere in between. This flashlight has got you covered. The max beam distance on it is 326 meters. It is impact resistant to 2 meters, waterproof to 1.5 meters, and another really coul feature too that I probably should have mentioned earlier, I really like the on-off button on this flashlight, and it might seem simple to a lot of people. I mean, it's just how you turn a flashlight on and off. Well, a lot of flashlights, and some of the smaller flashlights I've got, you turn them on and off just by turning the knob, and that's fine, especially on a smaller flashlight. I don't mind it, but on something as big as what this flashlight is, I don't want to have to keep trying to turn the back of the flashlight or the front of the flashlight to get it to come on and off. This has got a very, very quality on-off button right here. And I say quality, it's just got a real crisp feel to it. I don't know if you guys can pick that up in the video or not, but you can hear it click. It's a real positive click. I mean, there's no slop in it. It's not something that feels cheap and moving around. It's just as silly as it sounds, it's a really quality on-off button that I really like over having to turn the flashlight to turn it on and off, or a switch that you flip forward and back that always seems to wear out. Another really cool feature, and what I really like about this on-off switch is, if you notice, and I don't know how well you can see it, but that on-off switch, there's a blue light that lights up inside it when you turn it on. Well, the cool thing about that blue light is, as your batteries start running low and it's getting to be time to where they need to be replaced, that blue light will actually turn red. So you'll get a little bit of a heads up when your batteries are starting to run out on you. To change the batteries, it's real simple. About halfway down the case, or about halfway down the body of the flashlight's where it unscrews. You turn it over, your battery carrier will come out. Like I said, it'll hold 4 AA batteries, and you pop them in according to the polarity, the direction that they go. And the cool thing about it is, when you go to put your battery carrier in, it doesn't matter which way you put it. There is no right or wrong way. It'll work the same. You can't put it in upside down or anything like that. So tighten it back on, and here you go. You're right back after it. So again, to turn on Firefly, you can jump straight to, and this is something I should have covered as well earlier. I'm jumping all over here, but there's just so much to this flashlight I'm wanting to get in here. To get to the Firefly setting, this is something I really like as well. You don't have to say, again, you know, you're in your tree stand and it's pitch black and you're wanting to dig something out of your bag. Well, the last thing you want to do is have to cycle through a bunch of bright settings to get to Firefly. You want to be able to come straight on to the Firefly mode and not light up the whole sky while you're trying to get there. So to get to the Firefly mode with the flashlight being turned off, you'll long press the on button. And I don't know if you can see it, I'm assuming you can, but there's Firefly right there. So I didn't have to cycle through a bunch of different modes to get to it. And from there, if I long press and hold, there's medium, long press, and there's high. So that's how you go through the regular settings. And then if you want to get to turbo, you double click, there's turbo, and then, as I promised, double click again, and there's strobe. So I mean, it's really, really bright. Like I said, 1150 lumens, and when it's pitch black in a room and you turn on that strobe, it's going to mess some people up. I've messed with Brittany and our son Lake with it, and had them shine it on me as well, and it will definitely disorient you. So incredibly bright. I really love the strobe feature, and I really like how you can get to the strobe quickly. Let's say middle of the night, worst case scenario happens, somebody's in your house or whatever, and you've got to get to the strobe. The last thing, in all your adrenaline and panic, the last thing you're going to want to do is have to mess with the flashlight trying to get to the strobe setting. And if you have to cycle through 6, 8, 10 settings to get to the strobe, and then you pass it, and you got to go through all of them again to get to the strobe setting, that's just not a good situation. And to get to the strobe on this, like I said, you turn it on, double click, there's turbo, double click again, and there's strobe. So it's real quick and easy to get to the strobe setting. In the heat of the moment, if you should happen to miss the strobe setting, again, it's real quick to come right back to it. So I don't know, that's about all I got as far as the specs and the information on the TN4A. But it's dark outside, and I think we'll just take it out back and shine it around a little bit and let you guys take a look at it. And we'll see what the backyard looks like, I guess. Okay, guys, you can tell we're outside now. It's pitch black. It's as dark as it's going to get. We've got clear skies, but there's not much moon, so it just doesn't get a whole lot darker than this. We're going to come out here, and not only are we going to show you the TN4A and how it performs and all the modes and all that good stuff, we're going to compare it head-to-head with this Makita Spotlight. This is a lithium-ion Makita Spotlight. I got it when I bought my drill and my impact, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know how many lumens this spotlight is, but I do know it is pretty bright. And the reason I really want to use this spotlight instead of another flashlight or my headlamp or anything is because I think just about everybody's pretty familiar with these, you know, kind of standard issue spotlights that come with tool sets, and because everybody's kind of got a basic understanding of how bright they are, it'll be a lot easier to compare the Thrunite TN4A to this spotlight, because like I said, everybody pretty much has a pretty firm grasp on how bright these spotlights are. So with that being said, give me just a second. I'm going to kill the light, and then I'm going to come back out, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Alright, lights off. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shine this Makita spotlight around a little bit. As you guys can tell, first of all, this spotlight here, it does not have a very focused beam, and I think that's kind of a general consensus with what people expect out of a spotlight. Is you want it to light up a great big area, not so much an intense beam on one object, but more just lighting up a good general area, and the spotlight does pretty good at that. But what we're focusing on here is just the sheer brightness, the how far away you can make out things and what you're looking at with this spotlight. And as I'm looking down there towards the end of this driveway, those trees that I see right there, they're about 40 yards, and I can vaguely make out some trees behind them that I know are probably pushing 60 yards. But in all honesty, in all reality, I can see them because I know they're there. Because to be truthful with you, the spotlight just is not lighting those trees up. I can make out the shapes, I know they're there. But really, the spotlight, its limit is probably in about the 45-50 yard range. Is about all you're really seeing out there. Right up there in the back, I don't know if you can see that. That's our little boy lake. That's his playhouse. The spotlight lights it up pretty good, but it's 30 yards from where we're standing, so I would expect it to light it up pretty well. So anyways, that gives you, like I said, if you guys have any experience with these spotlights, you guys already know what we're looking at, but that gives you an idea of about what this spotlight's capable of. So with having said that, I'm going to go ahead now and turn on the bad boy here. This is the Firefly setting, and as you can tell, it's a real dim setting like we talked about earlier. Perfect for digging around in your bag or whatever in the mornings while you're in a tree stand, or any situation where you need a little light but you don't want too much. The Firefly setting is just, to be honest with you, it might be one of my favorite settings of any Thrunite, because they're just so cool, and it's so cool and so handy. But that's not what we're out here to show you. We're out here to show you the nuts and bolts of this thing, and everybody wants to see how bright it is. So let's go ahead and, from the Firefly setting, we're going to bump it on up. This is the medium setting, and as you can tell, maybe you can tell, I'm not sure on camera how well it's coming through, but I'm going to say on the medium setting, this flashlight probably is not quite as bright as that spotlight. It's not lighting up near as big around area, which I would expect, because this flashlight's got more of a focused beam. So I would never expect it to light up as much real estate as what that spotlight's going to. But as far as how far out there you can make out objects, here on the medium setting, it's real comparable to that spotlight, but it's probably, I'm going to say, maybe 10 yards shy of what that Makita spotlight was doing. But again, this is only the medium setting. So we're going to go ahead and long press it, which jumps it on up to high. And here on the high setting, this thing is outshining that Makita spotlight by a bunch. I can see a hedge post back there in that fence row that I know is a good 110 yards away, and it's lighting it up well enough. If it was a person standing there, I could tell you about everything you wanted to know about that person. So it's a real, like I said, it's a real intense, real focused beam, and it's reaching way out there, and it's lighting up a good amount of area around what you're looking at. So you know, if there was say there's somebody back there and you're wanting to light them up, you hit them here on high. Excuse me. Hit them on high, and not only, like I said, can I tell you whatever you want to know about that person, but you can tell pretty easy if they're by themselves or whatever the situation is. So from a self-defense standpoint, this flashlight is really impressive, as well as, like I said, it's got so many other settings from a hunting standpoint that are really useful. It's just a great all-around flashlight. But here on the high setting, I'm reaching out past our fence row back there, which that fence row's a good, straight north of us like this, it's a good 100 yards back there, and they're close to it. And I'm reaching out beyond that by a little bit. So, and this is, like I said, this is the high setting. There's the playhouse that we were showing you earlier. You can tell it's lit up a lot better now with the Thrunite than it was with that spotlight. So again, this is the high setting, so let's go ahead and get up there on turbo. Now this turbo setting is it is super cool. I mean, there's a tree back there, and I don't know if you guys can see it, but in all honesty, if that tree back there is a good 200 yards to maybe 220, and if that tree was a person back there, I could easily tell that was a person standing back there. So again, it's a really focused beam. When you're looking, excuse me, I'm fighting off a cold right now, and it's lingering, but you know, out there at 200, 220 yards, it's a real focused beam. It's not lighting up a great deal of real estate around what you're looking at, but it does light up enough that you can tell what's around it. But man, it is just lighting things up so well with this super. I mean, it's just a really focused beam, and it's doing such a great job of lighting stuff up that's way beyond the capabilities of that spotlight. So real impressed with it. Again, that's the turbo, and double click it, and there we are on strobe. And as I mentioned earlier, and I don't know, I have no idea what this looks like on camera. I know it hurts like hell from where I'm at, but this strobe is it's just an unbelievably strong strobe light. And you know, when you're in the room, in the house, and you got the lights turned off, and I'm shining this strobe light in your face, you are disoriented. And I was messing around with Brittany, and then she turned around and shined it on me. When somebody's shining a strobe light in your eyes, you have no idea how far away they are. If you were in my house and I was shining this in your eyes, I could walk right up to you and flip you on the end of the nose, and for all you knew, I was on the other side of the house. So you've got no sense of distance. You got no perception of how far away the light is, which is exactly what you want with your strobe light. It's very disorienting. But then the cool thing about it is the strobe is so fast that when you're on the backside of it and you're holding a flashlight, as you can probably tell, you don't lose anything. You know, there's not a lot of blinking. You can see everything that you need to see, but the person on the other end that's receiving the business end of the strobe, they have no clue what's going on. So just really happy with the strobe. I'm real happy with a lot of things about the flashlight. The last thing I want to show you, we brought out a little bucket of water here. Again, the flashlight is waterproof down to 1.5 meters, and this obviously is nowhere near that, but it will give you an idea. We'll go ahead and just set the flashlight down in there, and you guys can tell. I mean, there's no, aside from the bubbles that it caused when I dropped it in there, there's no bubbles coming up, no water's leaking into the flashlight. It's just just like every other Thrunite that I've tested, it's an airtight seal, watertight seal, exactly what you need. And again, I know I mentioned this earlier, but one of the cool things about this flashlight, if you look right now, remember earlier I was telling you about the on-off switch and how it was blue. We've taken several outtakes and deleted a lot of stuff because of the lighting and the difficulty, and in the process I've been messing around with this flashlight for quite a while tonight. And as you can tell right there, now the on-off switch is red, which is telling me before too long I'm going to need to replace batteries. Again, I don't want you guys thinking the batteries died that quick on us. They didn't. There was a lot of outtakes and a lot of a lot of stuff that you guys didn't see because it's deleted and stuff. So overall, I've been playing with this flashlight for several hours tonight. But you know, like I said, it's really cool. That's giving you a heads up. Your batteries are going to die. Again, I can't stress this enough. They did not die just in a short amount of time we've been that you guys are seeing the video. There's a lot of filming and a lot of messing around that you're not seeing, and that's what killed the batteries on it. So battery life's really good for the amount of power you're getting. So many different modes, all the way from the really useful Firefly to the really strong turbo, the strobe, all the just great stuff. Very tough flashlight. I'm sitting out here, I've just beat the snot out of this thing, and it just keeps on ticking, not a scratch on it. Real happy with it. I wanted to share it with you guys. Now that we're done, I'm going to tell you that for more product reviews and how-to videos, go check us out over at ikesoutdoors.com. Thanks.